It is no longer news that there's so much abuse of the recruitment process in the care sector particularly, and there have been many videos about this. In fact, some recruiters collect huge sums of money in exchange for jobs that should be free and fair. People have been doing a lot of dubious things to make money in this country, all in the name of giving out visas. The situation in the UK right now for immigrants is like jumping from frying pan to fire, unfortunately. The rumors we have been hearing are no longer rumors. It is clear now that from one UK secretary to the next, the agenda remains the same: to cut down immigration to the lowest possible numbers. Could the new UK immigration rules be the end of the skilled worker visa? What about the health and care workers? Could this bring an end to dependent and family visas in the UK? Quite a few things to clarify in this video. The new Home Secretary appears more brutal than his predecessor. Who remembers this lady here? And the thing is, this guy is only 3 weeks on the job. But let's hear all about the 5-point agenda from the horse's mouth.
The first of our 5 points will be to end the abuse of the health and care visa. We will stop overseas care workers from bringing family dependents, and we will require care firms in England to be regulated by the Care Quality Commission in order for them to sponsor visas.
I need to clarify some misinformation out there first. The first point on that policy is that health and care visas will no longer permit overseas care workers to bring family dependents. And this is aiming to address the concerns about the abuse of the health and care visa. But let's look at it critically. If this is not modern day slavery, I don't know what else it is. How can you tell a family man or woman with kids to leave their family alone in a distant land and come to work for you? Isn't that crazy? Brother James Cleverly, would you leave your kids here in England to go work permanently overseas? Like, think about that. Anyways, that being said, I need to address a misinformation out there regarding this whole policy on the health and care visa. The misinformation out there is that everyone under the health and care visa category is affected. Now, that is not true. As you can see, there are close to 30 different occupations eligible for the health and care visa. The new rule is addressed specifically to those in the care sector, like the care workers, social workers, and senior carers, especially in care homes. Based on the NHS article dated 5th of December, this policy does not affect NHS staff. So as far as bringing your dependents goes, if you work in the NHS, you can continue to bring your dependents. But what remains unclear though is, what about nurses who work in care homes and private hospitals? Well, hopefully we will hear more about this in the coming days or months, because the truth is we really need more clarity to all of this policy. Otherwise there will be more confusion out there. Unfortunately, recruitment of carers is going to be much more difficult from next year. This Home Secretary is saying that care firms seeking to sponsor individuals for visa applications must now be regulated by the Care Quality Commission. On this point though, I can't even defend anything. It is no longer news that there's so much abuse of the recruitment process in the care sector particularly, and there have been many videos about this. In fact, some recruiters collect huge sums of money in exchange for jobs that should be free and fair. People have been doing a lot of dubious things to make money in this country, all in the name of giving out visas. The other point on the immigration rule is that from March 2024, which is the beginning of spring, when this policy will come into effect, if the company that wants to recruit you as an overseas skilled worker cannot pay you a minimum of 38,700 per annum, just forget about it. Unfortunately, they cannot sponsor you otherwise. But my pain with this policy is this: that health and care workers will still have a lower earning threshold for their visa applications. It amazes me how smart these people think they are. Do you know what this particular point means? This policy is as good as saying it's okay to keep recruiting overseas healthcare workers and pay them peanuts, because they know that if minimum salary is increased across all sectors to 38,700, it means that healthcare assistants will start collecting that amount as starting salary. Now imagine what nurses and doctors would need to be paid in that case if the minimum salary threshold for the entire skilled worker visa becomes 38,700. But of course, we all know that the UK government would not do that, would they? They want to keep the health sector running, but not raise the bar in terms of salary. Anyway, what do I know? I'm just a bloody immigrant. Essentially, it means that if you get a job in any other sector that is not health and care, your starting salary as a skilled worker cannot be less than 38,700. The question then remains, how many companies can pay such amount of money for a start? This therefore means that there will be very few to zero new overseas workers in the coming years, if not months. You get the point now? Now don't forget the ultimate plan though. It is to cut down net immigration. So that's their focus. It's not It's not about you, it's not about your family, it's not about your dependents, it's just to cut down immigration. Which makes sense for the economy, but imagine what this does to families who are already in the UK. How do people renew their visas then? Because we really need more clarity on that if they're already here with their family members. Well, the third point is that the government also plans to reform the shortage occupation list. So there's going to be a review and reduction of the types of jobs included in the shortage occupation llist. This shortage occupation list, if you don't know, is a list of professionals in various fields that the UK desperately need. It is how many of us, including nurses like myself, enter the UK. If this policy is implemented, however, it means that if you are looking for a job in the UK, but your profession is no longer on the shortage occupation list, you may find it 10 times harder to be recruited by any employer. And add the fact that they need to pay you $38,700 per annum for a start. We all know how difficult overseas recruitment already is at the moment, even for those on the shortage occupation list like nurses. Now imagine when your occupation is taken off that list. Anyways, we will know more in the coming days or months. I will put the link to the current shortage occupation list in the description below if you don't already know what professions are in that list. If you plan on relocating to the UK, now might be the time to push things even harder. This new policy is not smiling at all. And if you're a nurse who is struggling with getting a job in the UK, my next video is for you. I have found a sure way out for you, and that video will tell you how to cut costs in many areas so you can get to the UK quickly and get a job. This next point in the policy is for UK citizens or permanent residents who are looking to bring a family member into the UK on a family visa. Unfortunately, the process will not be possible any longer from next year spring if that UK citizen or permanent resident doesn't earn at least $38,700. Now, this family visa is not the same as a family member visiting you in the UK. So visitor visa is not the same as a family visa, but I don't want to go into details in this video. Okay. I don't know what offense overseas students have committed in the UK that all the policies seems to be against them. But it seems the UK government is really out for them this year. This government is already asking for a review of the graduate route. So currently, when graduate students finish their course in the UK, they are able to stay in the country for additional 2 years, during which time they can apply for jobs and get sponsorship. Unfortunately, that might be coming to an end soon. I still don't know what it's going to look like after the review, but let's watch and see. It is well. It is well. That is all I can say. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.